In this episode of Take 5, we'll give a brief overview of Scholastic Book Fairs in our Catholic schools. Most of us grew up with Scholastic books, but did you know this? If you understand any of the Common Core initiatives from 2010, you will know that in order for schools to receive funding, the exchange was not just questionable math curriculum, but that of copyrighted standards and digital learning foisted on schools. No matter the security of firewalls installed, children at some point will be exposed to everything from gender ideology to desensitizing and grooming our children long before we parents ever have an opportunity to have these conversations with them. And that includes Scholastic, the largest children's publishing company in the world. And that includes its Ideologies and a third-party global book fair company to back it. For example, books for tween reads in a school serving pre-K to 6th grade display a darkened and disturbing culture. While school volunteers do their best to work with Scholastic on alternative book cover options or topics, there is really no way to know what is under the cover. A social justice table display won't show our founding fathers. Instead, you will find the late Justice Ruth Ginsburg, while a woman of her time may instead take front and center. You might see an effort made towards having a biblical display table on God on books from Scholastic. However, more than likely, you will not see anything to represent the Catholic faith. Instead, entertainer Beyonce will take front and center in a neighboring table in the kiddie section, or Daisy Meadows, a series called Rainbow Magic, as the cover features an African-American fairy donning the infamous pink pussycat hat from that famously known presidential year of 2016 and radicals at the Washington, D.C. Walk for Life. And then there is Yana of the Dawn, a section where a reader blog posts trigger warnings, murder, violence, loss of loved ones, Yana crushing on her cousin, sexual harassment, snakes and snake bites, according to a Goodreads blogger. This sounds lovely for a 4th or 5th grader, right? Unfortunately, parents allowed the teachers to trot their kids down to the book fair with money in tow. Additionally, a word on Girl Scouts, then their connection with Planned Parenthood in our Catholic schools. Scholastic-sponsored book Smile, a graphic novel by Raina Telgemeier, is not only sold at book fairs, but can also be found in Barnes & Noble and Target stores. The book begins praising the work of Girl Scouts, then quickly introduces a tale of a 6th grader about the highs and lows of boys in braces, featuring graphic cartoons. The images clearly were not at all appropriate for any 2nd grader. Images that include grisly scenes from an orthodontic chair, drug references, dressing the 6th grader as a hooker from her Girl Scout pals as an initiation, scenes from playing spin the bottle and showing how the girl was humiliated by being depantsed before peers during lunch as a joke. According to the Bookworm, a young reader blogs, Smile is a fine read for those in pre-K to 6th grade, according to the site. Look at some of the pictures and then decide if this is something for your 3, 5, or 8-year-old daughter. All Catholic schools should raise concerns about ties to Planned Parenthood via the World Association of Girl Guides and Girl Scouts, otherwise known as WAGs. WAGs has long been a standing advocate for contraception and abortion rights on behalf of its girl members, the majority of whom are minors according to Girl Scouts. Why not? Catholic schools stand for the rights of the unborn from conception to natural death. Parents also need to be concerned about transgenderism for children at their child's Catholic school. Research reveals the Scholastic book Red Crayon by Michael Hall is a favorite among teachers in the name of, quote, self-acceptance. Many schools embrace diversity and tolerance lessons through transgenderism. Certainly many of us won't see this in our Catholic school libraries or book fairs, would we? Teachers wouldn't dare teach ideologies or theories that contradict the Church. Could they? And if they did, are they themselves aware, or like our very own society, fallen into the hands of years of corruption among unions and government authority, the same way Bella Dodd did in her controversial memoir, School of Darkness? It only takes one publisher gone global to accomplish just that. As author Alex Newman in his book, Crimes of the Educators, quipped in a speaking engagement, quote, "Buyer beware in the private schools," end quote. In her article, Why Catholic Schools Should Scrap Scholastic Book Fairs, author Jean Schoonover-Egolf of Crisis Magazine explains that, in addition to serving up ready-to-display cartons of merchandise for schools, on-campus fairs, they are the leading provider of school and classroom libraries. Scholastic offers plenty of financial perks to the schools and teachers who drive sales by both distributing and aggregating students' order forms. Scholastic.com features nearly 70 books with sexually explicit and gender-bending themes, thus permeating every age group, grade, reading level, and genre of the book in their flyers and fairs. In 2019, author Joy Pullman of The Federalist exposed Scholastic's latest school catalog, explaining how the long-known children's book company saturates kids not only with identity politics, but that of same-sex attraction and gender identity confusion. And while the covers of these books may not clearly show themselves to what avails inside, you may want to remove that flyer that just came home in your child or grandchild's backpack, or maybe even your child's school email account. But it is going to take more than that. Scholastic Company's gross annual revenue for the fiscal year of 2016 reached over $1.6 billion. During the school closings in 2020, at the height of the COVID pandemic, overall fiscal revenues declined 10%, versus the previous year to $1.49 billion, according to Scholastic's 2019-2020 annual report. Imagine the loss in revenue should all private schools relinquish their long-held contracts with private schools in the United States alone. Scholastic embraces the current movement of social uprising, respect for diverse groups in our multicultural society, and a commitment to build a society free of prejudice and hate, but at the same time supports that of a growing number of books embracing a New Age culture death, sorcery, witchcraft, and yoga. Parents must rise up now and speak out in order for our children to receive a godly Catholic education. Parents must demand that our schools return to a loving and positive environment. Bottom line, Scholastic does not belong in any school claiming to teach to a high moral standard, as in the case of private education. I'm not sure how Catholic schools that support Scholastic and take on public funding today can say this is the same way to celebrate its students. In light of National Catholic Schools Week, I hope people will look into this experience, as it's important for parents to look at what kinds of books are being given to children and books sold by Scholastic. Could this be happening in your private or Protestant or Christian school or even homeschool group? There are other Catholic book distributors. Check out your local Catholic book supplier or bookstore, or even your local archdiocese. There are some great Catholic schools who are conscientious about these things. You just have to seek them out. I'm Ann Taylor for Catholic Parents Online, and we'll see you in the next Take 5 video.